the internet. I am Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, and I am doing a video review for the ZA01 Armageddon Takeoff. Their not version of not Blastoff, because Blastoff is very different from Takeoff. Very different, very, very different. This is, of course, clearly not Blastoff whatsoever. Don't be fooled or mistaken. First impression, I gotta tell you guys, like, this dude has got the biggest, fattest legs like you ever saw. Like, it's astounding. But the figure, I mean, he looks pretty good. His vehicle mode is very, his robot mode is very Ghibli, like very just all this like chunk on his arms and like super chunk on his legs. Seeing pictures of him as they're circulating around the internet, I used to always tell people, still do actually, that basically this figure is like the child of the Michelin Man and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. They like had a baby, and then they just like take the baby and like wrapped it in vehicle parts, and that's pretty much how this guy looks like. But that being said, he actually has a fair amount of posability. His head is on the old ball joint, so it can like look all arounds and like look up about that much, look down like that much. I mean, it's almost negligible, but not quite. A little bit of you know, side to side, so you can like kind of like look at you and be like, what, you know. He's got this this joint system in the shoulders here, where it moves up like that on a little hinge, twists like that, and then inside his shoulder he's got yeah, there's some ratchets. Some ratchets right there. Upper bicep swivel. He does actually have like a double jointed knee or elbow. You know, it's like a knee but in the arm. And he actually moves his arm like slightly, ever so slightly more than, there's a straight, and there it is, ever so slightly more than 90 degrees. It's like 115 degrees maybe. I don't know. Where's my protractor? I don't have a protractor. I just bullshit everything. Oh, I just said the S word. YouTube isn't gonna let me have advertising monies off of this. He's got a wrist swivel. His wrist swivels about. His thumb totally like fights with this peg. His thumb and that peg hate each other. They're like vindictive guys. So anytime you want to rotate it like that much, it's gonna automatically like start popping this sucker out. But you just deal with it. His fingers, they look like they're all put together, but they're actually separate, like so. They're all done through with one pin. It's really interesting that they don't have the Toy World, like the type of fist that their other guys had. These ones here with the little design on the back and the ball joints on all the fingers, that also have this little peg in the hand. It's really interesting because the guns have got the tab system, so they'll peg into that just fine. But this guy, and it's interesting because they use these exact same hands on the Toy World, or not the Toy World, the Zeta toys, their aerial bots, use these exact same hands. But for some reason, this guy just don't have them, and I don't know if that's just how they designed it, or if maybe like somebody screwed up, and I don't know. He's got a waist swivel, so you know right away he's not a crappy figure. You know, he has like two waists, because check this out. But that's a spoiler alert. I'm not going to tell you what that does. I mean, you already know, but I'm not going to tell you. It's a secret. He's got kind of a soft, genteel, buttery ratchet in his hips. Yes. just a straight friction joint this way. He's got a ratchet in his knee. He doesn't quite get the 90 degrees. I think he loses about the same amount. Oh gosh, I think he loses about the same amount that he gains in his elbow. So maybe the degrees just migrated. But I can't tell you offhand whether that's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 80 degrees centigrade. You'll have to depend on what country you're viewing this from. One of the things I don't really like about this is that as you're bending his knee, like, so his knee does this like funny thing inside there, and that's how it like comes out. Like this actually like swings out. Let's see if I can get a good picture, get a good shot of this. No, I can't. You'll have to take my word for it. It swings out, and then it like tabs into place. Hey, come on, tab into place. Don't prove me wrong, man. There he goes, like that. And that's where it sits for the robot mode. But sometimes as you're bending it, that like comes out and it like floats all around. So that's something to keep in mind. Just be real aware of where exactly his pivot joint is, and you shouldn't have too much problems. He's got like half of the world's kibble on his legs because he's conserving kibble. He goes out and rescues it from other bots that have no kibble and puts it on his legs. That's where he stores it. He's got ankle tilts, so yes, good quality figure there. All of his thrusters combined together to make the heel, and that has there's no movement on that at all. But you know, you get him standing. Let me get my camera focused. You get him standing, and like, you know, he can do the poses. You know, he can like that, and like that, and like that. Well, let's get him a gun so he can pew pew. You know, so he can look like he's, you know, he's got some business to do that involves shooting things or being shot at, which is usually the same thing. He comes with this one gun here, which is molded in the same color of brown. And then he comes with these other two guns that are identical, and they've got this little peg on the side. I think they probably can go in the alt mode somewhere. And they'll fit in his hand as well. Or if you really want to, you can take these and plug them in right here behind his leg. Because that's cool, right? That way when he bends his knee, check this out, he can shoot people while he kicks. Epicness. In terms of paint apps, so he's molded in purple here, and in brown here, and in black, and then gray on the feet. And that's all of his plastic colors, not including the like trans clear window thingamajigs. The rest of it is all paint apps on him. He's got gray on the shoulders. He's got some clear details on the chest here. Got a nice little spot for you to put the Decepticon symbol if you feel so inclined. Some gunmetal gray here. Just a little bit of black here for the alt mode. A little bit of gray on the leading edge of the wing here. Some silver here. Another clear piece there. The head is actually kind of interesting. So the whole back of the head. Get this centered. The whole back of the head is clear. Like he's molded in this clear part. Like he's made to do some light piping, but personally, if you ask me, thankfully he doesn't have light piping. He's got this like nice like shiny red eyes, which gives you, as he is right now, just kind of this, you know, piercing look to him. For size comparisons, I am going to compare him with, we got your Toy World Not Scavenger, who is just a little bit shorter. You know, they size up pretty well though, I think. And then I'm also going to compare him today with the Jinbao oversized KO of the Warbitron, whatever this guy was called, not Blast Off. And I don't know, aesthetically, I really prefer this this Warbitron guy. But you know, like you look at these both in hand, and like you can really tell, like, yeah, I think this one's a KO because it's like kind of light. Like, it's really interesting. When I got this figure, I never really felt like it was kind of crappy or cheap because it's actually a really good quality KO. But when you hold it and hold this one, like, you can tell this guy is a whole lot heavier. All right. So now to get this guy transformed up, we're going to go straight into his limb mode, because you kind of got to go through his limb mode to get to his alt mode anyhow. So I'm going to start by loosening up some panels in the back. These panels like split down the middle, and you can move them about to get this thing out. Which, here, let me crack open his chest here and push on that. That is a super tight joint. That joint does not mess about. That is a serious joint, 100%. We're going to close that back up and get on with the rest of it. Extend his arms out into a tree pose. The transformation of his hands is actually kind of fun. You kind of flip this out and then pull this down and then rotate this around and straighten that out, and then this folds in behind there, and that makes like the nose of the nose. And this panel here on the other side, you rotate that, pull this little so that's like one arm right there. I'm going to put that straight up and then do the same for the other side. Oh, let me do the same for the other side, but like keep it in the shot. Oh, my light. So this is all a new setup for me, by the way. So feel free to post in the comments, make fun of me for how I'm screwing everything up. That would actually make my day, because when it comes to reviews, I'm just a masochistic freak. That is just a tight joint. Wish I had my medieval torture tool with me, but no, I had to leave it behind today. We'll just use a screwdriver and gently pry that up. I always like to have a non-sharp pointy tool on hand when I transform some of these figures, because some of them can just be like really, really rough, like really just hard on your fingers. I mean, if you love your fingers, which most people do, I think, you kind of got to take care of them. So we got these things together now. We're just going to tab this together. It tabs together in a few different places. And then this whole cockpit section tabs on in like these 4 tab places. You got to kind of sneak it past this section here. And then we're going to take these, fold them up, and rotate that down. these kind of lock together here, and that locks into place there. Let me bring this up a little bit. So there's the top half all done. The bottom half still looks like a mess. So let's get that squared away. We're going to just start with the one leg and then duplicate it for the other side. So we're going to start off by taking this black panel right here on the front of his leg and pulling that up. And that gets that out of the way so we can take his foot and just like move it like that. And that's kind of stiff to pull it past that corner, but you can totally do it. Like I totally condone doing that. And then you kind of pull on this to open that up. And that opens this whole section here, which we're going to need to have open. And then, and this is actually one of the things about this that kind of bugs me a little bit. So he's got landing gear in here, right? But unfortunately, when the landing gear are folded up like that, this piece right here bangs into the landing gear, and you can't open that, not unless you want to scrape something up or break it or whatnot. So you got to like pull the landing gear out to get that out of the way. So you can pull this out to get that out of the way. So you can pull this out to get that out of the way. So you can pull this out to get that out of the way. And once all that's out of the way, then you can collapse his leg down like Combiner Wars style. While we've got this all open, let's put the foot back in. How did his foot like to go in there? Like, this is where it goes. There we go. So the foot folds in, heel first, make sure it goes all the way up, and then put the toe down. And so it fits in there like that. And then, once you have that in place, then you need to put this back into place, and 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 put this back into place. So you can put this back into place. There's a lot of like taking things out of place and then putting them back into place, and that is just, it's kind of a frustrating move because there's all these steps just to move like one little part. And now we got to do it again because he's got two legs, as most people do. Not everyone. Sorry, anybody who doesn't have two legs. Don't hate me. So move that. Oh wait. Move that. So we can move that. So we can move that. So we can move that. That open. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. Sorry, I had to move this first so I can open this so I can move that. There's steps, man. There's steps, and they got to be done in just the right order, at just the right time, in just the right way. Otherwise, the ninjas will come and get you in your sleep. And nobody wants that. Unless, of course, you are one of those people that getting got by ninjas is totally your life dream, in which case, go for it, man. I'll miss you. Because ninjas, damn. Alright, so let's put that back into place, and 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 that, and that, and that. And then, if I had a hand, hey, could somebody give me a hand? No. If I had a hand, it would fit in right here. You can see there's this hollow right here by the tail, and there's two little tabs. There's going to be two tabs on this side and one tab on this side, and it's going to just fit right in there, and the hand's going to connect onto that, and you'll just peg this together, and it pegs together real solidly. And that will be his arm. And then we'll take this, and we will rotate it at the waist. 180. Oh, don't worry about it. It just goes back on. So this will rotate out like that. So this is where he's going to connect on, and this is actually the same. Oh, that's stiff. This is actually the exact same combiner port as their constructor, or the Toy World constructor. In fact, it's even physically the exact same dimensions. I was playing around with it earlier and took off constructor's arm and had this on here, and it was like he went to had some crazy energon bender and woke up and realized that he was combined with a different dude. It's like, geez, what did I do last night? Yeah, we've all had evenings like that. So the elbow joint is built right in, and that is just it's a stiff elbow joint. I like how on the back side here you can reveal this. It's not quite hydraulic stuff, but it's this little thing that moves around, and this doesn't structurally do anything. All of the ratchet is in here, but it just aesthetically makes it look really cool. And this guy is going to have this is going to be his bicep swivel right here. This is the upper torso joint that I told you guys about, but told you to forget about. So now you're seeing this for the very first time. This is the upper bicep joint, but this is also going to swivel right here. Let's put this back in place. So he's going to have a swivel on his upper arm, and then it's undoubtedly going to have some sort of articulation right here in his hand. And I mean it's going to make for a big arm. Here he is combined with. Done with the Jin Bao arm. Let me fix this up real quick. He's mostly transformed, but you guys got to give me some credit. It's hard to transform this guy with my toes while I'm doing all this review with my hands. So, it's the one part that I didn't get yet. But he's gonna be, by all accounts, he looks like he's gonna be about the same size as the Jinbao figure. Oh, let me hold that way out. It's gonna be about the same, which means he's gonna be a big boy, at least 18 or so inches. It's gonna be great. Alright, from here we are most of the way into the shuttle mode, so let me get this turned. Oh, it's already in the right place. Get this all squared away. So what we're going to do is we need to put this guy away. So I'll start yanking things apart up here. I don't know, I kind of feel like we could just go right straight in. But I think the safe way is to just start yanking things apart. Always be safe with your figures. Nobody ever wants to be unsafe, dangerous. Hello. Crack that open. And then right here, this is where we need to really open it. Wow. That is a joint that does not mess around. That's just serious as a heart attack. Heart attacks are pretty serious, by the way, in case you don't know. Alright, throw that back into place. Put that in. Make sure that gets all tabbed in. Put that in place. Make sure that gets all tabbed in. Alright, now we're back to transforming this lower part here. And so what we're going to start with is going to pull up these black panels here just to give us some room to work with. And then we actually need to take these landing gear once again, pull them out. And that's so that we can get this folded down, because of course it has to fold down. But before that we do that, we're gonna open this part here. And we're gonna make sure that it pegs in. There's a little peg right here. There's a corresponding hole right in there. I'll make sure that gets into the right spot. On both sides. There's no use in having just one functional wing on your space shuttle. That's not a good way to fly. Technically, by the way, the space shuttle does not fly, it glides. It's got thrusters on it, but they're mostly for maneuvering in space and getting into space, and not really so much coming down. Because, you know, when you're coming down from orbit, you're just falling, and Sir Isaac Newton does all the work. And then we're going to take these and plug them in. Those will plug in. They've got these nice little tabs right here, and they grip that like nobody's business. Alright. There we go. Nobody's business has been achieved. Then we're going to take these, fold them up. There's a tab here, a slot here. Disorienting jump cut. I had a camera malfunction. Alright, so we're back at this panel here. So you've got this thing. I mentioned the tab, the slot. It's also on a double hinge. This half of the double hinge is like fairly easy to deal with. The other half of the double hinge is like the spawn of Satan, and so it's really kind of you gotta move it with intention when you move that. And when you get it into this spot here, you gotta just oh. Sounds like I broke it, but I didn't break it. I swear I didn't. I'm gonna take this. Peg that into there. Oh, come on. And then take this. Same thing. Got to move that with intention. A little spawn of Satan, you know. Oh, fits in a lot easier. Probably because the first one already pulled it all into alignment. And I missed a thing. I missed a thing. I missed a thing right here. I missed something. So, while you're transforming this guy, like the tail does this like crazy Harry Houdini / David Copperfield / some other guy who disappears thing. And it just like straight up disappears. Well, actually what it does is it folds into his leg. And I, like a retard, forgot to fold that back out. Well, here it is. Ta-da! Alright. Back. Back, I say. Back! If you are watching this review and you think that I'm stupid, go ahead and say so in the comments. I like reading comments like that. You guys are my heroes. The keyboard warriors of the future. And we're going to take these. They were up, but now we are putting them down. You suck. Oh, I'm not putting them down like that. So now they're in the correct configuration, and he's got landing gear. Alt mode looks freaking fantastic. Like, this is not... It's not a robot that turns into a space shuttle. This is a robot that turns into a space shuttle. Ish. This is a space shuttle that turns into a robot. And it is gorgeous. It has... The complete look. I mean, I'm a NASA fanboy, and I'm just like looking at this thing and being like, oh my gosh, It's got that detail on it, and it's got like this detail on it, and it's got like all these little details on it, little tiny little thrusters and cooling vents and like all sorts of stuff. I'm looking at this and I'm just like, and there's no robot on the bottom. Oh my gosh. The only thing that would make this perfect in my mind is if it had like all the little squares of the ceramic tiles. That would be cool. My little NASA fanboy would just fanboy all over the place. It would be messy. But yeah, just a solid alt mode. It's gonna make a great arm. The robot mode is kind of terrible. But let's be honest, I don't think anybody on the planet is buying this for the robot mode. And I mean, if you are and you like the robot mode, like, go for it, man. You're like, power to you, you know? It's your toy. You can like whatever you like about it. For me, I'm not a super big fan. I am gonna go over, so you can take these guns here. If you want to, you can plug them on there. You can have the world's very first armed space shuttle. You know, I think that's a pretty good place to fit them if you want to have your alt mode storage. Kind of looks, you know, a little bit streamlined ish. If you're not keen on that, you can fit them on the bottom like that, because he's got both this peg here and he's got this peg here, so you can take these and take those in there, and then you can take this guy here and plug it in like that. And so then he can just be like flying along and shooting stuff while he's doing science for NASA. The ballistics of space bullets or something. I don't know. But yeah, so that's the Zeta Toys takeoff, part of their Armageddon series. I wholeheartedly recommend it. It's gonna be a great looking combiner when it's all done. And that pretty much wraps up what I'm saying. Everybody have a great day and be good to each other.